Older players have a lot of issues with Pokemon games supposedly being easier, but there actually are cases of the games being easier that you can objectively point to, opposed to the common argument that people who have been playing Pokemon for a long time find the games easier because they are more skilled at it than when they were 7. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are very faithful remakes to the original Diamond and Pearl games, not the enhanced remake Pokemon Platinum, but it includes the all-party EXP share among other things that make the game easier because there's no grinding needed, and your Pokemon will be comfortably above the level curve of the game because the levels haven't been modified to adjust for your Pokemon gaining more experience points. But we're going to look at an early boss battle in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl where the game gives you an easy way to defeat the first gym. The first gym leader is Roark, who has Brock's team plus a Cranidos that's a glass cannon. Now with Turtwig and Piplup, this is an easy fight because Geodude and Onix are 4 times weak to both grass and water, along with Cranidos being 2 times weak. The only potential issue would be Cranidos getting 2 hits in with its massive attack stat. It's so high for the early part of the game that it doesn't get a rock stat because of it. In Diamond and Pearl, it gets Pursuit, which will annihilate you if you switch out, which doesn't really make all that sense because Roark sets up with Stealth Rock, which discourages you from switching out. But Generation 4 was before Sturdy was useful, meaning that you could knock out Geodude and Onix in 1 hit, where in Generations 5 and beyond, Sturdy prevents you from taking them out in 1 time. Geodude doesn't get Sturdy, but Onix does, and the reason for it may surprise you. The game devs probably didn't want this boss battle to be too hard for Turtwig and Piplup players, because if you're only using your starter for this fight, Geodude and Onix both have an opportunity to attack with Sturdy. Also, Cranidos is faster than both Turtwig and Piplup, so this can be a huge issue if your starter is under-leveled or just slow, because that means Cranidos can get hits in before you with its massive attack stat. So if you're low on health from getting hit by 2 attacks from Geodude and Onix, Cranidos will wipe the floor with you. But hilariously, Chimchar is faster than Cranidos, so it can defeat the glass cannon in 1 hit without fear of getting one shot, provided that it has the proper setup, which bizarrely the remakes decide to give Chimchar. I mean, shouldn't be the starter that's weak to rock and thus have a difficult time. But can Chimchar get past Geodude and Onix by itself to defeat Cranidos? That's the question. In Generation 4, you could teach Chimchar Rock Smash and hope that like after the 10th time you get lucky that Geodude and Onix would not attack you, because these Pokemon have high defense, meaning that even though the fighting type Rock Smash move is super effective, it's still going to take a few turns to defeat Geodude and Onix even if you get lucky with defense drops. The conventional strategy with Chimchar is to evolve it into Monferno at level 14, and the fight becomes a cakewalk because Monferno gets the secondary fighting typing, which gives it stab fighting type moves. And what do you know? It gets Mach Punch, a priority fighting type move that is exactly what you need to defeat Roark. And that means you don't have to carry around a dead HM move and Rock Smash on your moveset that you'd be stuck with for a while. In Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, all of this changes though. At level 12, Chimchar learns Power Up Punch, which is a lot more useful than Mach Punch because the Chimchar line is already fast. There aren't many things that are going to outspeed it in a playthrough in the first place. What Power Up Punch does is that it boosts its attack stat after each use. So after the first time, your attack is boosted to 1.5 the regular power. The second use, it's double the attack power. After the third use, 2.5. All the way up to 4 times the regular damage if you use the move 6 times without getting your attack dropped. Now, I wanted to see if I could use this move, which is incredibly powerful in an early game scenario, to see if Chimchar could defeat Roark by itself despite having the type disadvantage. The strategy is simple. Use Power Up Punch until I win. Since I'm not going to be switching out, I'm not going to taunt Geodude so it can't use Stealth Rock, which deals damage to Pokemon that come into battle, and Geodude's only attack is Rollout, which stacks like Power Up Punch, with the downside that once you use the move, you're locked into it until it misses, or if it's used 5 times in a row. This makes Geodude scary if you don't have Turtwig or Piplup that can knock it out in 1 turn, or Machop, which is found in the patch of grass north of Auroburg City, and resists rock type attacks while being able to deal super effective damage with fighting attacks. The game even gives you direction if you're out looking for it. If you talk to this NPC character, he will tell you exactly where to find Machop, which is a very good counter to Roark's rock types, just in case you need an extra Pokemon for whatever reason. Like if it's a child playing and they don't understand the type matchups or haven't evolved Chimchar. So here, I'm hoping that I can can stack up enough power-up punches before rollout does me in. The first time, my Chimchar is at level 12, but I'm not at full health because I didn't heal my Pokemon after beating the first 2 trainers in the gym. I move first with power-up punch, then Geodude goes with Stealth Rock, which is either programmed to favor it on the first turn or just always pick it. The second punch I land a crit, which takes it down to yellow health. Then Geodude uses Defense Curl, which is actually good because I'm 1 turn ahead of Geodude in terms of boosting physical stats. The third punch almost knocks Geodude out were it not for the defense boost. Then Geodude uses rollout, which knocks me out in 1 turn. Yeah, I probably should have healed. The second time I heal up so 1 rollout doesn't knock Chimchar out. The first and second turns go the same as the first battle without the crit on the second punch. So this time the third punch takes it to the red with a little more HP, but if I can get 1 more hit in, Geodude is done. Geodude uses rollout, which it's locked into now, and it takes most of my HP. However, the fourth punch takes it out, so I'm past Geodude. My attack stat is 3 times its usual power, and Chimchar levels up to 13. Let's see if that's strong enough to take out Onix and its 160 base defense. A boosted up power punch takes Onix down to yellow health, but Onix uses rock throw and that's it for me. So it looks like I need 4 hits to knock out Geodude with defense curl and 2 for Onix. As long as Onix doesn't use rock throw first or Geodude misses with rollout, I should be able to do it. The third battle I forgot to heal, so you know I'm gonna lose anyway, but I do get a critical hit on the first punch. Geodude goes for Stealth Rock, but the second punch also gets a critical hit, so I may be able to defeat Geodude with only 3 punches. Geodude goes for defense curl, but it's not enough to keep Geodude on the board. So now, will Roark choose bind with Onix instead of rock throw? Well, the fourth punch does not do half because I'm at 2.5 times power instead of 3. But again, Onix chooses rock throw, which is also a crit, and knocks Chimchar out. If I was at full health, I might have won this round even with the crit because the second hit would have probably been enough to take Onix down. So this fight seems like it's actually doable for Chimchar at level 12, considering that rollout and rock throw both have 90% accuracy. So if you get a miss or 2, Chimchar could defeat Geodude and Onix and get to Cranidos, but I leveled up to 13 because I wanted to see if it could win consistently with this strategy. On battle number 4, Chimchar starts at level 13 and is at full health. This time Geodude goes for rollout instead of defense curl on the second turn, doing only 14 damage. Since it didn't use defense curl, the third power punch knocks Geodude out. I actually wasn't happy that this is the case because if it used defense curl, I might have been able to take another turn to boost my attack to 3 times instead of 2.5 times. Onix comes out and the fourth punch crits and takes most of Onix's health away. If I survive this attack, I'm past Onix. Rock throw takes me to just 6 health because even though Onix gets a stab attack, its attack stat is horrible. To give you an idea, all 3 of the Sinnoh starters have attack stats higher than Onix. This thing should have been buffed stat wise after Gen 1, even with the Steelix evolution. So I get 2 Cranidos, and my next punch will do 3.5 times the normal damage. All I have to do is outspeed and I'll win. Cranidos is so frail that a 1.5 punch may actually take it down in 1 hit. Rather anticlimactically, I outspeed and win. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Cranidos is actually easier for Chimchar than for Turtwig and Piplup, despite having the worst type matchup if you have proper setup. The speed of a Pokemon can really make or break it. So Cranidos is really easier for Chimchar, where the opposite is true for Turtwig and Piplup. They need to survive a hit before being able to take it out. So while Chimchar struggles with Onix and Geodude, needing to exploit a move it probably shouldn't have at level 12, the other 2 have a pretty easy time with those 2. Obviously, once you get Monferno, this battle's a cakewalk with power up punch. I guess Bulldoze was thought of to use to target the speed of Chimchar and Monferno along with dealing super effective damage. But if you already have Chimchar and Monferno in before Cranidos comes out, there really is nothing it can do. So yeah, I don't know. I also think Bulldoze was picked because it's super effective against rock types. And there are 2 rock types you can pick up before you face Roark. And you know, the gym battle is supposed to be super easy if you're using Piplup or Turtwig, and it is, seriously. Cranidos is not a problem if you're at full health. I'm shaking my head over how this fight became so exploitable that's arguably a tougher fight for Piplup and Turtwig. Yeah, this is me after the fact, running it with all 3 starters. I can say Piplup and Turtwig are still easier uses. It's just Chimchar, if it is out while Cranidos comes in, it will have the easiest time with Cranidos. Provided that you were using Power Up Punch, and it's like, why wouldn't you? Because Chimchar is a boosting move. Currently evolving into Monferno at level 14 or picking up a counter like Machop, Badoo, or Psyduck, the latter 2 potentially being able to outspeed Cranidos if you get them the right EVs, basically by fighting a bunch of Starly. So yeah, I guess they wanted to make it really simple for younger players or inexperienced players. So what do you think of this battle? Did they make it too easy for Chimchar players? This is Mellow Meowth, leaving the game on pause. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.